This is Missile Command 3D on the Atari Jaguar. So what I've been doing this week is just going back through some of the Jaguar games that I've quite enjoyed over the years. And, well, I suppose if you ask someone, are there really any good games on the Jaguar, the two that people tend to respond with are Alien vs Predator and Tempest 2000 really as exclusives. I know you've got Wolfenstein and Doom, but they're really just ports. And I think it's quite easy for people to be dismissive of Jaguar games. So what I've been trying to do this week is just show a few that I own that I've quite enjoyed over the years. And I think, to be brutally honest, the Jaguar isn't a console that I tend to play very often. I usually go back to the Mega Drive and the SNES a lot more often, and even the Saturn and the PlayStation and the Amiga. Yeah, I go back to a lot of machines, but not the Jaguar, sadly. So what they've done on this is it's a fully 3D game, and I think what Atari did was to look at Tempest 2000 and decide, yeah, let's make Defender 2000, and I suppose, what was the other one? Breakout 2000, and I'm not sure why this wasn't called Missile Command 2000, but there's a clue in the name. It's called Missile Command 3D, and it plays really just like the original Missile Command game. But what this was meant to be used with was the headset. It was a 3D headset that was, well, it was one of those things that was going to be revolutionary in the early to mid 90s, but the consoles at the time didn't really have the... Oh! And this is the other problem. It's very crashy. Let's restart this. Okay, I've restarted the machine manually by turning it on and off. The problem with this game is it tends to lock up, and it tends to be in the mode that I've just shown. So there's really three different modes to the game. One is the classic mode. The other one is 3D, which is really just an update of the original. And the third one is this, which is the virtual mode. So I suppose this is perhaps the most, well, oops, I shouldn't have done that, 3D of the three modes. And you can see how this would have been really good with the virtual reality headset. I had to think that. I think I might have shot my own turret. But I think, just going back to the previous point, the Jaguar, out of all the machines in the early 90s, was really the best bet for the virtual reality headset, because the Mega Drive and the SNES were meant to get them, or at least the Mega Drive was, but they weren't really 3D machines. I suppose the SNES was with the Super effects, but I really can't see the Mega Drive pulling off 3D that well. But it was cancelled, and I think the problem was having a CRT, you know, so close to your head. It would just give people headaches after 15 minutes, and it wasn't safe to drive after, so I think the industry just scrapped it. Which is quite funny, because in the last few months there's been a rise in development of headsets again, which is cool, and it makes you wonder if it'll work this time. So what you've got to do on this mode is you've got these, well, you're underwater, and you've got these missiles that are coming down, and you just have to defend the base. Oh, that worked. Forgot about that. I'm using the Pro controller, so I've got the shoulder buttons. So what you can do is you can switch, once you've shot this, go on, and that one, yep, I won't say no to that. So the shoulder buttons let you switch between the different turrets to get a better angle on, the missiles that are coming down. And later on in the game it does make more of a difference, because it gets faster and they come from more angles, and if you get one directly above you, you're in trouble. Switch again. I quite enjoyed this game. This was one of the later Jaguar games that came out, and I suppose it's like the Mega Drive, the boxes that came out post 94, I think, had different artwork, at least in the UK they did. I think they did in the US as well with the red boxes. But the Jaguar had a slightly different logo for its 64-bit. And so this was one of the later releases. And I really got into it, and I really enjoyed the game. but it crashes all the time, and the 3D mode is terrible for it, but this does... I don't think it does it at the same point all the time, but you can only really play for about 20 minutes, something like that, and then it just crashes, which is a bit of a pain. I remember taking the game back and swapping it for a new one, and the shop did, but this copy does exactly the same, so I'm just wondering if anyone else has got this game, whether they've found it crashes for them, or maybe it's just a glitch in the game, or maybe it's something in a bad batch that I seem to have picked up. Yeah, I'm pounding these guns too hard. They oops. Yeah, I should stick to this one, it's a better gun. They tend to overheat if you shoot too much. Okay, Repair City. Thinking, shooting, talking. Yeah, I can't remember whether the VR headset was meant to come with an analog controller, but with this I'm playing it just using the standard D-pad on the Jaguar, and it's a bit of a pain because you've got to go left, right, then up, or just left and right and then wait, whereas I think an analog you could go bang, 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 bang. That'd be cool. So you get these odd ships that come down, which I suppose are more aggressive than the missiles, but later on you get these dragons that appear. Let's see if I can get to the end of this mission, because the second one is on the surface and this big dragon appears on the clouds, which is really cool. Is that it? Oh no, a couple more. But I'm really impressed with this, given that it's a full 3D environment. Oh, here we go. Here's the boss. Some strange sea thing, which is really descriptive. I don't know why, but there's something reminding me of Space Harrier with that big dragon you get at the end that changes colour. Because if I remember correctly, it goes red when you shot it a few times. Can't remember whether you have to shoot it in the head or not. Come on, come on. Oh yeah, I've got the smart bombs, I forgot about that. Oh, wrong button. Missing, shooting. Oh, I turned. Take that. Oh, it's slowing down. Yeah, I think this is the problem with the Jaguar. The 3D, I think... Well, was it a 3D machine? I'm not sure. I know it didn't have any texture mapping capabilities, and I wonder if all the 3D's done in software. It probably is. Is that it? Oh no, another round. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Hopefully this has given you a flavour of the game, and I think if... Well, I've said this before, I think if the Jaguar had have come out a couple of years before, so it came out at the end of '93, at least in the UK it did, maybe in slightly earlier in the US, I think it would have stood a much better chance if we'd have got the Jaguar before the Super FX chip came out. But I think by the time it came out it was too little too late. But this game's easily as good as anything on the Super FX, on the SNES. Yeah, it does make you wonder if the Super FX 2 is more powerful than the Jaguar, which I think, given Doom, no it's not, but I don't know, I think this could have been done on the Super FX too, quite easily. Yeah, it does make you wonder. But I think the Jaguar was cut short in its life, and I think if it had come out, a couple of years before it did, the PlayStation was another, it would have been another 4 years away, it would have stood a much better chance. But as it is, you look at a game like this and you think for Jaguar it's quite impressive, but when you compare it to the PlayStation and the Saturn, it doesn't compare. I mean, it's a nice game, but it's a little bit clunky, and visually yeah, this is me almost... Oh, here we go. Yeah, I was going to say I'll finish this video, but I think I'll try and just finish this boss off so I can briefly show the next level. Take these things out. It's some kind of underwater UFO. Oh, I forgot about that. I think you can shoot your own missiles if you fire too many too quickly. Oh, it's slowing down quite badly. Go on. Slow down, slow down. Oh, that's not easy on the eyes. Got him. This would have been really cool using the 3D headset. Just seeing the big ship. So yeah, as you can see, apart from perhaps a smoother frame rate because it's not drawing a ceiling, it's more of the same. So you just protect the city again and shoot things. And instead of a big UFO, a big dragon turns up. Right, so I'll definitely leave it there. More waffling. Thanks for watching.